computer. All right, good evening, everyone. This is Cristina Campbell, and our class tonight is on healthy pets. You may or may not have heard our healthy pets in the past, but I shoot from the hip, so you may hear something a little bit different this time. The thing that I really want to stress with pets is that they suffer the same way as we do. So you're going to see many of the oils that we use on ourselves. I'm going to highly recommend that you use on your pets as well, to include our supplementation. And I'm going to tell you why when we get to that part. So again, animals can suffer from ailments in the same way that humans do. And we want to learn how we can support our pet's immune system, just like we've been learning how to support our own immune system. I'm going to teach you tonight a safe way to protect against viruses, bacteria, and other microbes with your pets, and alternative mood elevating and behavioral modification choices. I'm going to give you some examples of how I used oils with my dogs. I was a breeder for, I guess, 10 or 12 years. We purebred British Shelties, and you'll see one of my Shelties in this presentation because it has a pretty incredible story with him. So we're also going to talk about pain relief without using harmful drugs and their side effects, oxygenating and supporting the organs with high antioxidant supplementation again, and parasitic control without having to use the harsh deworming things that Hearts has in the grocery stores and whatever else you can get, even prescriptive. And I will explain to you that I use the same parasite control, Young Living, for all of my new puppies when I was a breeder. So we will move on. Our animal friends, Young Living therapeutic grade essential oils can be used on many different kinds of animal species. I'm sure this is new to some of you. You can even use it on birds, fish, reptiles, and mammals. And I've got a really kind of incredible story. Well, I'll just jump in and tell you. So there is a leader in Young Living. Oh, what is her name? Her name is, I want to say Jan. And she had a goldfish in a 20-gallon tank. This is hard to believe. That had developed a tumor-looking thing on its body. And she thought, well, what can it hurt? And she dropped in a drop of frankincense into the water. And she proceeded over the next week to watch that little irregular growth disappear. So even on fish, and when I heard her tell that story, she told me that story. I was like, are you kidding me? Some people might think that it would kill the fish. And you have to use common sense. I mean, I surely wouldn't put a 15 ml bottle in a 20-gallon tank. You probably will do something. I mean, I don't know what, but I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to do that experiment. The information in this presentation, of course, is based on Young Living, pure Young Living essential oils, because of the fact that they are high quality and they are tested. Excuse me. They are tested for purity. I usually go into the seed to seal thing. I'm not going to go into that tonight, but just know that the use of a brand of uncertain quality and or purity could provide you with potentially dangerous, if not lethal, results because of the high propylene glycol or antifreeze concentrate in many of the oils on the market. I'm sure you heard me tell the story that we had Now brand lavender tested in Chicago in 2001 and found that the lavender oil that was in it, which was 17%, was pure lavender oil. but it was diluted in 83% propylene glycol, which is antifreeze. So we just have to really know what propylene glycol is and how harmful it can be, not only to the liver, but to, our cellular structure in general. This is a poison. It's a toxic poison. And many of the animal food treats that we buy in the market today and give to our pets, whether it's little cat treats or dog treats, they all contain propylene glycol because it keeps the food soft. So, the old fashioned milk bone is probably better for your dog. I haven't read the labels on them. So, I mean, don't quote me on that. But these soft, bacon flavor, yada, yada. And they've got a lot of food additives and chemicals. So, if you really want your pet to be healthy and you really want your pet to be safe, you have to be just as discriminatory about what you're feeding them in treats. And we, pet moms are like, oh yeah, but he really likes it and I really want him, he loves it, he loves it. You know what? Make the good choice for him. You will find something else that he will love just as much, and obvious, and really he's probably going to forget that brand in a week or two anyway. Take your animal for regular veterinarian checkups and proper diagnosis. But even then, I always encourage using oils, and you'll hear some of my stories. So let's talk about alternative therapies with dogs. First of all, for animals in general. Now, the picture that you're looking at is a picture of Gary, and he's doing a raindrop technique on a horse in Mona at the farm. And I was there while he was doing that. And then they did a raindrop on a mare who was pregnant, and she was very skittish and very nervous. And I will tell you that raindrop calmed her right down. There are 9 powerful therapeutic grade essential oils in the raindrop technique, and they are dropped like raindrops and massaged into the spine of dogs, cats, horses, cattle, calves. It's been used on calves with strangles, goats, small Shetland horses. It's really, really remarkable. It can relieve muscular tension. It can deeply energize the animal. It allows the body to detox naturally, and it supports the immune and nervous system as well. Oils and animals just seem to work together like day and night. It's so wonderful how effective these horses can be, or these oils can be. And speaking of horses, I wanted to mention that Gary told a story of a horse that he had up in the mountains. I think he may have been in Idaho at the time. I don't remember where. But the horse had gotten attacked by a cougar. And when the horse got back to the farm, or Gary went out to get him, the hind quarter was literally clawed out. And he was bleeding profusely. The blood was just running down the horse's leg. And he was concerned that by the time the vet got there, if he called the vet and the vet got there, that the horse would bleed to death. So Gary, in his wisdom of essential oils, took a syringe of heliochrysum and injected it into the wound to stop the bleeding. And then he proceeded to pack the wound with animal scents and other oils. And the vet got there, and the vet literally told him there was nothing more that he could do, that Gary had done the best that he knew, and that they could just fingers crossed see, what the outcome would be. And of course, within days, um, new flesh was coming in and the healing was taking place and there was no infection, and the horse ended up healing beautifully and with just, nothing but a scar. And that's actually what happened to my dog when I get to that part of the story. So oils and animals just work together very, very well, just like they do for humans. Other alternative modalities that you can think about using with your pets are pet reflexology, and that's just using reflexology points on the paws. And I think it's in the the animal uh, desk reference that it goes through the pressure points for the paws. But just massaging the paw and putting oils on the paw can increase circulation, improve balance, promote relaxation, decrease pain, and increase energy of the dog. You can go out to caninefoot.reflexology.com and get even more information if this is something you'd like to incorporate as a wellness technique for your pet. And of course, pet aromatherapy, which we're going to talk about tonight. It can do many things. It can relieve anxiety, it can reduce relaxation or induce relaxation. It can boost our immune system and their immune system. And it really helps to reduce thunderphobia. I had a 2-time shelter dog. His name was Merlin. And Merlin had actually been over vaccinated because when Merlin went from foster care or shelter uh, to shelter, because they don't have shot records, they would give him another vaccination. And a lot of times overvaxxed dogs will get very, very sensitive to thunder. And thunderphobia is a result of that. And I had a lot of trouble in the beginning with Merlin because he would just go berserk, absolutely berserk, run back and forth, try to get out, just berserk. And I found that Lavender was not strong enough. He was a big dog. He was probably 65 pounds, maybe. He was an Australian Shepherd, black and white. And that just wasn't working for him. Lavender wasn't. So I started using Rutavala, and that knocked him out. And he could sleep during a storm. And it was saving grace for both him and I. I know that he was tormented during those times. And that's when I that's when I started doing a lot of research into titer, which is a titer test is a test that they can do on dogs to see if they are ready for a rabies shot. And in most cases, especially my smaller dogs, they could go 3 and 4 years without a vaccination because titer, could look into the system and say the rabies antibodies are high enough that he doesn't need another vaccination. So what do you do in the case of maybe your county or whatever wants a vaccination, proof of vaccination, so that you can get your dog tags? Some states recognize titer, some states do not. Missouri does, Illinois does not. So I just got a titer test on all my dogs. I think I had 4 or 5 at the time. And I just didn't do anything about it. I didn't need to have a dog tag. They never left my yard without me. So I just, did the illegal thing, I guess. But also an animal sense of smell is up to 1,000 times more powerful than ours. So when you're diffusing, you want to use a water diffuser and something that's soothing and nice. And so a couple of options that I chose for this presentation was the Rainstone diffuser. It has ions, it adds ionic benefits to the air. And also the lantern diffuser is kind of a nice diffuser. Just put it somewhere where they can't, wag their tail and knock it off a counter or table. Just have it up a little bit higher. It's a great way to give your pet aromatherapy, is to diffuse around your pet. If you kennel your dog or your cat, diffusing something like lavender so that they don't get anxiety. Although some dogs really like that cave instinct, and so just give them something happy. Maybe a citrus oil to diffuse. I like purification for dogs. I also like anything that clears the air. Lemon is nice. Any of those oils. So always diffuse around your pets. It's very, very healthy and healing. Pet acupuncture is another modality. It relieves animal anxiety. It offers a drug-free way to calm your pet. I also used like a little TENS on my dogs that I got from my veterinarian, and pet massage is really great as well. So all of these other modalities can be really helpful to improving the quality of their life. And when you do acupuncture, you can actually use essential oils on those needles. I have a girlfriend in Manhattan who is an acupuncturist, and she uses oils, and she was on the Today Show with all of her Young Living oils behind her. This was many years ago, but she does the New York Dancers and football teams and all kinds of people. So she's pretty active in using oils on professionals. Okay, so let's talk about oils. And first we want to talk about dilution. For small animals, cats and small dogs, especially cats, you want to apply 3 to 5 drops of dilute this in 80 to 90% of an oil mixture. So you're not going to put it on as strong as you would put it on you. I mean, we're talking maybe a 12-pound dog. I weigh 150 pounds. So that's quite a disparity. And I can tolerate a lot of essential oil. It's better to err on the side of caution when it comes to our very small pets. And it saves money by not using a lot of oil, and it's still effective. Now, for large dogs, you can actually put 3 to 5 drops on neat. And I'm talking about, 85-pound dogs, 65 to 85-pound dogs, or horses that are, weigh way more than we do. You can use 18, 20 drops easy on a horse. Here's, cattle and horses, 20 to 30 drops, neat. Neat meaning that you don't have to dilute it. Dr. Melissa Shelton, who used to be with Young Living, said that valerian, because there's a lot of misnomers out there, and it's said that valerian builds up in the system, but it does not, and especially not the essential oil. Valerian actually requires a buildup to be effective for sleep disorders. So if you have sleep disorders, you have to use valerian a lot. And if your dogs or your animals have sleep disorders, use it consistently and let it work its magic that way instead of, one time it doesn't work. Stick with it for a while and let it build up in the system. Okay, so if you're going to dilute oils, one of the healthiest oil blend, carrier oil blend, is V6. And this is what I would highly recommend you use on your pets. Now, if it's good enough for my pets, you know darn well it's good enough for us as well. And so V6 is the best mixture of carrier oil. In fact, it has coconut, olive, sesame, almond, sunflower, wheat germ, and grapeseed oils in it. And Gary found that this synergistic blend of these particular oils worked better with our essential oils than any single carrier oil out there. So I just keep that in my mind when I'm using or looking to grab a carrier oil, because I have a lot of different carrier oils in my house. But when I do raindrop, I only use V6. When I'm working on my own body, usually I'm using V6. So V6 is a colorless and odorless essential fatty oil blend, and it's all natural. It nourishes the skin, and it has a very long shelf life. That's another thing. Because of the wheat germ oil, it has a very long shelf life, and it's non-staining. So it's great for massage therapists too. Okay, so where do we apply the oils when it comes to our pets? Well, on the paws is the best place. Just like we put oils on the bottom of our feet, there's fast absorption in the paws of cats and dogs. If it's a cloven hoof animal, apply on the tips of the ears or the spine or both. You can also put it underneath the lip, especially with horses, on the gums, or even on the tongue. You can sprinkle a few drops on the spine and then just massage it in. It's being picked up, especially dogs. Dogs have a hair follicle that's actually tubular, and it takes in that oil and brings it in systemically to the entire body. You can also put it in a capsule, and I've done capsules and oils with my dogs a lot when I had my dogs, and you can mix it in with their feed. Somebody was saying that they had, oh, I don't remember. Somebody had called me about a question, and I said, just put it in their dog food. You know, just put oils in their dog food. Oh, I know. It was my neighbor. So her dog, after she told me the symptoms that the dog was having, it was eating everything green, people's plants, their plants. And I said, well, it sounds to me like your dog has a mineral deficiency, because a lot of times that's why they will eat a lot of green things. So I told her to get some mineral essence. And this is a fairly small dog. And of course, we're not in the supplement part yet, but just add it to their feed. And mineral essence is 60 ionic minerals, but it's got essential oils in it too. So the uptake of those minerals is a lot faster. With large animals, the animal's bottom lip, especially in a horse, can be pulled out, and the animal will feel the effect very quickly, because that inside of that lip is just covered in capillaries, and it carries the oil very quickly into the bloodstream. When treating animals with essential oils internally, make certain that you're using Young Living, because many oils, in order to extract the oil from the plant, they use solvents. It's a very quick, effective way to get the oil out of the plant. And there is solvent residue in these oils. Now, that residue is less than 5%, so they don't have to put it on the label, and you will never know how that particular oil was extracted. I had heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I had heard that there are companies out there that actually distill their plant material twice. And so they will get a second run of oil, which of course is not going to be as potent, and they sell it as 100% pure and organic, but it's not as potent because it's a second run on the same plant material. We would never do that, and people don't think about that. So anyway, make sure that you only use Young Living with your pets. Animals that may be jittery or resistant to essential oils, this is how you can rectify that. Apply Peace and Calming or Idaho Balsam Fir, or Idaho Grand Fir, is what we call it now. or valor on yourself first. Because they, if you kind of attack your pet with oils, they will have a resistance to it. But if you have the oils on, you become a human diffuser. And then you pet the dog, you cuddle the kitty, you stroke the bunny. And that will help the bunny or the puppy or the kitty feel comfortable and confident. If you have a skittish animal and it doesn't like to come to you, and you're wearing these oils, the animal will react when it smells the aroma. And those are very natural smelling oils to animals. The peace and calming, the Idaho balsam fir, is that tansy, that blue tansy in the peace and calming, the spruce in the valor. All of these are really good. So kneel down or squat beside the animal and remain very still for several minutes. Let them get a little whiff of you. As the animal breathes in your fragrance, it will become calmer and easier to manage, because it's not only, knowing that this is a natural scent, but it has a calming influence on them. So it's working on their psyche as well. It's awesome what oils can do. So what if you have an injured or sick animal? Should you treat them with essential oils? Absolutely. For viral or bacterial infections, arthritis or bone injury, use the same oils and the same protocol recommended for humans. Just keep in mind that if this is a small dog or a small cat, that you would cut it down as far as you would dilute it or use a lot less than you would on a human. But the same protocols apply as far as the types of oils that you would use for viral or bacterial infections or arthritis or bone injuries. When anybody calls me about, dogs and cancer, I just tell them the same protocol that I would tell them if they were calling and telling me that they had cancer. So when applying to large open wounds like Gary's horse or hard to reach areas, you can put oils in a spray bottle and spray them directly on location. Now, Gary did that as he continued to treat that horse that was attacked by a cougar. He would spray the oils with a spray bottle in the wound to facilitate the healing. After an oil application to an open wound, I always recommend covering the wound with animal sense ointment. What this does is it seals it to protect it from further infection, and it prevents the essential oils from evaporating in the air. So it covers and seals. If you have a wound and you're wanting to put maybe a diluted tea tree in that wound, cover it with rose ointment or animal scents, and it will seal that oil in so that it can do the very best job that it can do. Always take special care not to get the oil in the animal's eyes, just like you don't want to put it in your own eye. You don't want to drip oils into their ears. But if they have ear mites or ear infections, you can take a cotton ball and put a drop of purification on there and put that cotton ball in their ear, just like you would do if you had an earache yourself. Or Melrose, that's another good choice. Make sure that the animal is drinking pure water. We don't give it a second thought to take tap water and give it to our animals. But remember, in most cases, our tap water has been chlorinated. And chlorine, especially on small animals, you take a tiny puppy and you give it chlorinated water, that's like giving me a dose of 100 times more chlorine than I would be getting if I drank my own water. And this is what's causing thyroid damage and immune system dysfunction in many of our pets today because we think nothing of putting chlorinated water in their drinking bowl. Make sure that you're filtering your water. And the best way to filter water if you don't have a whole house water purification system is to go to Target or Bed Bath and Beyond or Walmart even, and get a zero water filter. That's the one that I've always touted. It does the best job. It's better than Pure. It's better than Brita, and it's about the same price. You can get a pitcher for about $39.95 or something like that. And then it tells you when to change the filters, and you could actually measure the contaminants in the water, and it brings it all the way down to zero. That's where it gets its name. Make sure too that your pet is getting quality protein and enzymes. I used to feed my dogs Essential Zyme, Detox Zyme, Essential Zyme 4, Allerzyme all the time because they need enzymes too. This is important to promote healing. So if you have a sick animal, make sure that they're getting plenty of enzymes. This makes use of the organic feed essential to maximize digestion and protein assimilation. And it doesn't, there's not such a burden on the body. Cats and essential oils. There are some cautions when using oils that are high in phenols, such as oregano, clove, thyme, cinnamon, mountain savory, and tarragon with cats. Cats need a very small amount. So the dilution ratios should be, 90% carrier oil. And then if you accidentally put too much on a cat, watch for some of the signs that oil is a little too strong. Squinting eyes, confusion, extreme sleepiness, disorientation, vomiting, acting drunk, or extremely violent. If any of these occur, dilute immediately with V6. So I've never known this to happen to any cats. I know cats that will literally go up to the diffuser and just breathe it in. They love it. They love it. They love it. And just a little fun fact. Did you know that cats are amazing self-healers? A domestic cat purrs in the range of 25 to 50 megahertz. This is the exact range associated with healing properties such as bone density. The bone megahertz is around 48, and that's why Valor is synergistic with bone healing as well, and for musculoskeletal in general. It was developed to be used with the raindrop for scoliosis, and because it is antiviral as well, but it helps to align the musculoskeletal system. So this is really cool. So purring cats can heal bones. All right, so let's just break it down and talk about some oils that we can use with our pets and which ones and how and what they're good for. So frankincense is anti-infectious. Frankincense is always going to be good for humans or pets. It supports the immune system. It's a favorite for pets, small pets and birds. You can use it for wounds and tumors, antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral. And you can dilute it if you're going to use it with birds or small pets with V6. Dr. Kim Bloom, who is a veterinary naturopath, says that frankincense is a staple in their clinic. So you can dilute it and use around the eye to relieve eye infections. And you can diffuse it, dilute it, and tip the ears or massage with it. Frankincense is very, very versatile and very, very good for all animals and humans. Lavender, another go-to oil for all of us. It's always been good for skin. It promotes healing for cuts, scrapes, and skin problems, any burns. Hopefully your dogs don't cook so they won't get burned. But it is a gentle #1 first aid treatment, and it makes their coats shine. That's why there's lavender oil in the pet shampoo, because it's really helps to make their coat shiny. And maybe you didn't know that Young Living has both a pet shampoo and animal sense, which is an ointment, and dental chews to keep their teeth clean with essential oils. Oh, we have a lot of pet products, a lot. It also, lavender will help to repel fleas and other insects, as will many of our oils. And it calms and reduces anxiety. It's uplifting. Just make this particular oil a part of your animal emergency kit. You can use it neat. That means straight. You don't have to dilute it. Unless it's a cat, I would maybe dilute it. Although, 1 drop of lavender is not very strong. I mean, it's strong, it's good, but I don't think that would cause any problem. You can tip the ears with this. You can drop it on cuts or abrasions, and you can mix it with V6 and massage the coat. So here are some testimonials. I think these are such cute Cavalier Spaniels. Having multiple dogs, 14 or so, and occasional puppies that attend the dog shows and doggy school on a weekly basis, we always worry about their health. We diffuse lavender for a calming effect, and also it smells really pleasant for people that work for Mrs. York. Calm staff, calm dogs. This was from Susanna Kiesler. Their dogs used to get a lot of ear infections, so they started diffusing Thieves Oil Blend every morning in the kennel. As a result, our dogs have not suffered from any ear infections. I got those testimonials from those people, and all of the testimonials in here are true and authentic. I talked to them on the phone before I even put this PowerPoint presentation together. Another great oil is lemongrass, and this is especially good for any ligament problems, any connective tissue problems. It's also highly antifungal. It's anti-inflammatory. It repels fleas and other insects. It reduces and calms anxiety and improves circulation. The things that you're learning in this presentation tonight can be applied to people as well. When I go out in the garden, I might put a few drops of lemongrass in the palm of my hand and just rub it all kind of in my hair, on my shirt, all over my body. If I'm not using purification or some other repellent. Research was published in Phytotherapy Research on topically applied lemongrass for its powerful antifungal properties. So I have a great story. In fact, I told you at the beginning it was my birthday on Friday, and one of my long time friends, Cherie Williams, we kind of started doing oils together because we were really close. And when I found the oils, I told her about them. She was at my first or second class that I had in my home, and she was a nurse. And I remember when she got Abby. Of course, Abby's been gone for many years now, but Abby was just a little puppy. And as she got older, when she was 7, there was something wrong. She couldn't get up. So Cherie and Mike rushed her to the vet. And after her exam and her x-ray, they were told that the tendons and the ligaments holding her right kneecap in place were torn, causing her kneecap to slip. The vet said that she would need surgery to correct this. But in the meantime, the vet gave her an anti-inflammatory medication and said to give to her for a week and then bring her back, and he would schedule a surgery. So instead, and I loved Cherie for this, she wanted to become a holistic nurse, go to school to become a holistic nurse, because she wanted to teach people about these oils and other healing modalities. She became a massage therapist and practiced in Belleville for a couple of years. It was pretty cool. It's nice having your best friend be a massage therapist. But she started using lemongrass on Abby's knee and her leg 3 times a day. She would massage it in well, and then she would wrap it with an ace bandage and keep that ace bandage on there all night. After 3 days of Cherie doing this, Abby was up and running. After a week, they took her back to the vet for a follow-up visit. He couldn't believe that she was walking as well as she was. He said that anti-inflammatory medication really worked, didn't it? And she said, here's the bottle. She handed him the bottle. She said, I never gave it to her. He wanted to know what I did. So I told him that I used Young Living's lemongrass essential oil. He x-rayed her knee again and could see where the tendons and ligaments were healing. And the vet couldn't believe the change between the 2 x-rays. And this is just a week. Lemongrass became Abby's oil. Every time Cherie would open a bottle, Abby would come running and lay down for her to rub it on her. She knew that it helped her knee and that Mama used something that was good. And so she liked that goodness and would come wanting more. Another great oil to have with your pets, and I've used this for so many dogs, so many times, I can't even begin to tell you. A couple of times, my own daughter brought her dogs, if they'd been hit by a car or had a very, very bad injury. And of course, when the one dog was hit by a car, I think she had 2 dogs that she brought to me that had been hit by cars. The first thing I went to was Panaway. It's good for muscles and joints and tendonitis and broken bones and inflammation and arthritis and all of the above. It accelerates healing. I want to tell you, it has wintergreen in it, which is highly anti-inflammatory, but it has peppermint in it as well. Peppermint is anti-inflammatory too, but also peppermint, it increases circulation. So as it's increasing circulation, it's circulating this anti-inflammatory wintergreen and helichrysum and clove, which is a numbing analgesic, through that bloodstream and through that area so that it can facilitate healing. It's bringing in new blood. It's pumping out the old blood and bringing in the new blood, and it's healing 3 times quicker. So you want to use it as an analgesic in acute injury pain, any dental extractions. You can rub it on their jawbone or post-surgery. I know many dog moms that have used this Panaway after their dogs got spayed or fixed in any way. They're in pain. And rather than give them painkillers that just knock them out, they would put oils on them. And it was just a lot less traumatic. So powerful anti-inflammatory properties, and it's an important addition to your pet's emergency kit. And remember, anything that I'm telling you about how Panaway can work on pets, it can do the same thing for you. If you have any of these issues and you're not using your Panaway, what? Use your Panaway. Do not apply Panaway to an open wound because it may sting. It has some, oils in that that might sting, and you don't want to traumatize your animal. Instead, use helichrysum and balsam fir to reduce bleeding and pain. Remember, I told you that Gary injected helichrysum into his horse that was bleeding profusely from a cougar attack. So helichrysum is really good to stop bleeding. Peace and calming. This is a calming blend, and this is used especially for abused and neglected animals. Anytime that there's a new arrival in the home, make sure that you're petting your dog with peace and calming. This helps to relax and promote a peace of mind and a quiet spirit. You can diffuse it around your animals. You can put drops on a collar, on a blanket, on a toy, because it will relieve fear, anxiety, behavioral problems, and overexcitement. Also, when traveling. So if you have a pet that gets just crazy when you're traveling, make sure you're diffusing peace and calming, not peppermint. Peppermint will help with digestive issues, but you need to calm the animal down. Peace and calming will do that. It's a blend of tangerine, ylang ylang, blue tansy, orange, and patchouli. I love peace and calming. It was one of the very first oils I ever used. Here's peppermint. We talked a little bit about peppermint, but it also repels fleas and ticks. So you can see that there are many oils. Mix peppermint and lemongrass and give your dog an all over body massage, or your cat. Dilute it a little bit with the cat, and then it's a good flea and tick repellent. It relieves nausea, vomiting, and motion sickness. So it depends on what's happening with that pet in the car as to what oil you're going to want to choose. It cools and invigorates the skin for overheated horses or dogs. You might want to put peppermint oil in their water, in the horse's water trough. This is great for the summer. It's supportive to the respiratory system. It's analgesic and non-infectious for acute injuries. Dilute this oil when using on cats and other small animals, but it's really good for all of these things that I just mentioned. We have a testimonial on kennel cough. And so this was one of the ways that I got Young Living essential oils into different kennels and different pet spas, by sharing with them that they can diffuse oils throughout their entire pet spa or kennel and remediate a lot of problems that they may have had previous. This is great for shelters. Go to your pet shelters and encourage them to start diffusing and start cleaning their kennels with thieves. So this is a testimonial by Rebecca Preston. She's out of Florida. She said, we adopted a 1-pound Chihuahua. His name was Gus, and he was about 8 weeks old. He had severe kennel cough, 24 hours a day, and he couldn't sleep. So I applied peppermint to my hands, and I petted him from the neck down over the course of 2 days. In 24 hours, the cough was clearly sporadic rather than constant, and by the second day, it was completely gone, and Gus was sleeping through the night. So again, you don't have to rush your animals to the vet when we have oils right at our fingertips. See if it works. And then if it doesn't, then you can take them to the vet. But why have an exorbitant vet bill when a few drops of peppermint would do the same thing? So I was mentioning Thieves Cleaner for cleaning kennels and shelter settings and stables and pet areas. The dilution ratio, this stuff is very, very cost effective in a mop bucket, or in even a spray and a hose end sprayer. This would really be great because it's the strongest anti-infectious essential oil. It's antifungal, it's antibacterial, and antiviral. And you can spray down the kennels with a Thieves mixture. I think it's great to put it in a hose end sprayer, the cleaner. And it's an analgesic. The blend it does have clove oil in it. And it's really good for dental problems. And I'm going to give you a testimonial here in just a minute. You can use it on pets with proper dilution. You can put it on their paws to keep them from getting sick and to boost their immune system. Use in diffusion. This is really good. If they have any kind of illness at all, make sure you're diffusing in their area where they sleep, in their kenneled area. You can use it both topically and for oral applications. You can use it in a raindrop or VitaFlex technique. It's just Thieves. I can't say enough about thieves. I'm looking forward to doing a full-blown nothing but thieves class here pretty soon. The thieves oil blend is clove, lemon, cinnamon bark, eucalyptus, and rosemary. Here's the testimonial, and this was actually by Pam. This was Pam's cat. Remember in the beginning I said that Pam Hine helped me, or we created this PowerPoint together many years ago. But her cat's name was Whitey. He was all white, go figure. And he had a bad infection in the gums around his molars on both sides. In fact, Whitey quit eating because the pain was so uncomfortable. So she took 3 drops of thieves. And remember, this is a cat. 3 drops of thieves, and she diluted it in about 6 tablespoons of V6. She would dip a Q-tip into the mix and swab the gum area twice a day. She did this for about a week. After a week, he started eating again, and there was no discomfort whatsoever, and the infection is gone. Whitey says the thieves worked perfectly if Whitey were to talk. Dee Broughton says that she would recommend thieves oil for any kind of infection, including kennel cough, pneumonia, upper respiratory infection, and canine flu. So purification is one of a pet owner's best friends, honestly. Especially if you have a cat and you have a litter box, or you have a couple of dogs and you don't want your area to smell doggy. Purification will kill odors, bacteria, molds, fungus. It kills anaerobic bacteria, which requires little or no oxygen in deep tissue and in organs. So this is a very healing, helpful oil. It purifies and cleanses bacteria in the air. It neutralizes odors in general pet areas and noxious litter box odors. Now, for litter box odors, I would mix up about 30 or 40 drops of purification in an 8-ounce spray bottle. And it doesn't have to be glass. It can be plastic because it's so diluted. And just spray that area. You can also put purification in baking soda and add it to the litter box if you want to do that, or just simply drop drops of purification into the litter box. That would help as well. Purification repels bugs and insects and relieves itching from insect bites. Remember that. You can also use purification to sterilize wounds. It's great in the laundry when you're doing animal bedding. I used to, with all my dogs, I used to just put, like 10 drops in the rinse water. And then I would make sure that I would put drops on my dryer balls. It neutralizes poisons from stinging bees, wasps, hornets, horsefly bites, and brown recluse spider bites. This really, really works for brown recluse spider bites. I know my daughter got bit, and usually, not all the time, but Loretta's ship is on. And I was teaching in Hawaii when my daughter got bit. And so I called Loretta so that she would pack Elizabeth's wound with purification. And it healed. It healed without having to. I mean, the necrosis had started, but the purification stopped it. That was the beautiful thing. So just make sure that you use it aggressively, that you don't stop until that bite is completely gone. You got to get rid of that poison. RC is another good oil for pets. It's antiseptic. It supports the respiratory system. If they're having a hard time breathing for some reason, rule out that they have a tumor. And if they do have a tumor, then make sure that you're giving them capsules of frankincense and that you're massaging their throat with frankincense as well. But RC also relieves allergies, it combats lung infections, it decongests sinuses, and it will also dissolve bone spurs. So if you have a bone spur on your heel or somewhere on your foot, make sure that you're using RC on it at least 2 times a day, every day until that bone spur is dissolved. It's amazing. Who would have thought that a respiratory oil could dissolve bone spurs? It has great oils in it, though. It's got Eucalyptus globulus, Eucalyptus radiata, Eucalyptus citadora, Citra odora, myrtle, pine, spruce, marjoram, lavender, cypress, and peppermint. And Valor, I mentioned, is supports the musculoskeletal system. It has a vibrational megahertz of 48, which is for improving structural misalignment. It's very effective on dogs that tend to hip dysplasia, or maybe they've had an accident or they fell or whatever. You want to use Valor. It restores confidence and bravery. If you have a shy dog, I had one, Nikki was just, she would not come out. She would hide behind the doors. She would go under the chairs. She was a Sheltie, bi-colored Sheltie. And I used a lot of Valor on her, and it really did help. You can drop on a cotton ball. I used to just pet her all over her body with it. And I used to drop it on her paws. You can use it for skin masses, for itching, for allergies, and to alleviate fear. It's excellent for behavior and training. So let's quickly jump into supplements for healthy, active pets. And the first supplement I want to talk about is Digest, which is an oil blend. But you can give it to them as a supplement in a capsule. Here, like for hairballs, you can mix 1 drop with some tuna and its juice and feed to a cat. It also helps with constipation, with intestinal parasites, and tapeworms. Digest is really, really great for helping parasitic infestation. It promotes healthy digestion. If you have a dog that has gas constantly, the first thing I would do is check to see what kind of food you're feeding them. And then you can always rub their belly with Digest, and it will give them, freedom of distress. It really soothes the stomach. And if they have, cramping and gas, and they might not feel good either, make sure you're using Digest. This should be part of your animal emergency kit. Bones, ligaments, and muscles. BLM. BLM is an incredible supplement. I use BLM often. I told my grandson, because he has osteomyelitis, that's what he was diagnosed with, he must use BLM. It will rebuild bone. It will speed the healing of bones. It strengthens and rebuilds damaged joints and cartilage. If you have joint issues, you need to be on BLM. If your pet has joint issues, do him a favor and open the capsule and sprinkle it on his food every day. Don't use the BLM powder form. Only use the capsule form, because the powdered form contains xylitol, which is toxic to some animals. So it's just that's one thing that's different about us and them. They can't tolerate xylitol, and we have no problems with it at all. BLM contains glucosamine, so it's really good for arthritis, inflammation, and pain. If you have arthritis and you're not taking BLM, why? That and Agiles, both of those are good for arthritic conditions. Plus, rubbing those arthritic joints with things like Panaway, Copaiba, helichrysum, anything for joints and ligaments, lemongrass, all of that is good. All of that is good. Reverse that arthritis. Don't write it off as, well, I've got arthritis and so I'll have it for the rest of my life. No, you don't need to have it for the rest of your life. The body has the ability to heal itself. Trauma Life is an oil that we don't use a whole lot here in our home because, thank God, our traumas have come and gone. But when they come, I use Trauma Life. This is excellent for abused or neglected animals. If you end up sheltering animals that may have been, abused or neglected, please use Trauma Life on them. They need this. Even for animals who experience separation anxiety, Trauma Life is helpful. Fear of storms, any kind of injury or accident, this is trauma, and Trauma Life will be very helpful. Use it for pre and post-surgical procedures like spaying or neutering. This is a must-have in your animal emergency kit. This is a must-have in every home for every human because you don't know when a trauma is going to pop up. It has valerian in it, but it also has lavender and frankincense, sandalwood and rose. It has helichrysum and spruce and geranium and davana and Cystrex hytrix. I talked about enzymes early on. Enzymes are very, very important for aiding digestion, eliminating toxic waste and gases so that they don't have digestive issues. It helps to break down proteins so that they don't have a lot of residual waste. It's breaking down the protein and it's helping them to absorb and assimilate it. And it will also establish a proper enzyme balance in their stomach. It improves intestinal flora as well. Take 1 capsule for a regular sized dog, but adjust to the size of the animal. If you think that it's a tiny animal and he only needs a quarter of a capsule of Essentialzyme 4, that's fine. Or even crush an Essentialzyme caplet and sprinkle a little bit on their food. This is really, really helpful. K&B, right, I'm not going to talk about K&B because it's been out of stock for a very long time. I'm just going to say that it's really good for kidney and bladder infections, urinary tract infections, and I can't wait for it to come back into stock. Rehemagen, on the other hand, is in stock, and this is a wonderful oil to help cleanse the blood, to disinfect, purify, and cleanse the blood. It's a powerful liver and gallbladder protectant, and it supports the pancreas and the stomach of the animal. You can just squirt a little bit on their food or put it in distilled drinking water. Or you can dilute Ningxia Red and put it in Ningxia Red. Ningxia Red is good for pets too. In fact, that Kim Bloomer, who was veterinary naturopath, she brought a dog, a big dog. I want to say that it was a Great Dane. Oh, it was a Bull Mastiff. And his name was Boomer. And she brought him back from death's door with Young Living. And she got him to drink Ningxia Red, which was really good for boosting his immune system and getting him back on his feet again. He really struggled, and they thought they would lose him. But Kim Bloomer got her Boomer back. This Rehemagen also prevents cellular mutation, and it's antifungal, and it increases energy, and it stimulates the adrenal gland. So it's just really good for anything and anyone. Sulfurzyme is very important to feed to any dogs that might be in chronic pain. Hip dysplasia or arthritis. It's also suggested for pre-diabetes, along with coriander and or ocotea. Sulfurzyme is very good for pre-diabetes. It supports a healthy immune system. It helps with healthy liver function, and it will give your pet a beautiful coat. I know, because it's really great for hair and nails for humans.
Christina, I have a question.
Oh, you startled me. Okay, April.
Which one is better, the powder or capsule for pets?
Well, it's probably
Or does
easier
it
for you.
matter?
I don't think it matters. I don't think there is any xylitol in sulfurzyme powder, but that's something that you'd want to check. If there's xylitol, then only use the capsules. But I didn't have that note on here, so I'm thinking there is not any, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. So check it out. No xylitol. Oh, this should have said Life 9. Whoops. But I have the Life 9 bottle up there, but I just didn't change the Life 9 up there. So this is a probiotic, and this helps to promote immunity, aids in resisting infection, improves digestion, and colonizes the gut with friendly bacteria. So you see, they need this as much as we do. And omega Gize is something that you might want to give your pets. It promotes healthy skin, but it also supports nervous and cardiovascular system. It improves eye, brain, and joint health. And it's much more specific for carnivores than flaxseed oil. So if your pet is a carnivore, then omega Gize is something that would be good. You can give your dogs or your cats, multigreens. It's funny because Pam Hyen again, she had an office, a Young Living office in Columbia. And behind that office, there was a garage, and there were a whole slew of feral cats back there. And so Pam took it upon herself. She is an animal lover from day one. She took it upon herself to get hold of the people who trap them and get them fixed. And she fed them every single day. And she fed them cat food from the store, in tins. In fact, I would go with her when I went to visit her. We'd put a can of cat food on paper plates, and then she'd open up a capsule of multigreens on each one of those plates of food. So she fed them multigreens. It boosts vitality. It relieves stress. It strengthens their immune system. It's very good as far as an antioxidant and cleansing the system, and it prevents thyroid hormone deficiency and estrogen balance. It prevents thyroid hormone deficiency and estrogen imbalance. So multigreens is good on so many levels. Here's the Animal Sense ointment, and I'm going to give you the story of my dog. This is a great salve. It's good for nursing mothers with sore or inflamed teats. So any of your milking animals, this might be something that you go to, better than bag balm. But this was my Sheltie, Theo, and he came from England, and he was the best dog ever. He had gotten bit. At least we think it was bit. And he could have got bit by a possum or a raccoon, but at the root of his tail and on his back. And by the time we realized that he had been bitten, the wound needed to be cleaned by a vet. So we took him into the Collinsville emergency clinic, and they cleaned the wound, but there had been a lot of necrosis. He had a lot of fur, and I didn't know that all this was going on. It ended up that the wound on his back was about the size of a small dinner plate. It was about this big. It was huge. And I asked my vet about skin grafting, and he was going to do that. But he couldn't stitch it up because of the weight of the belly. It would have just pulled the stitches free. So he did get skin grafting, but the graft didn't take. And so he said he didn't know what to do. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to take him home and I'm going to treat him. And I called Cherie. remember, she was my really, really close friend, best friend at that time. And being a nurse, she helped me. We had a cone on Theo and we had a little bathing suit on Theo, and we irrigated that wound 3 times a day for the first week or two, probably 2 weeks. I just got a saline solution bottle with it had like a cone nose that would do a stream of water, the saline, and I mixed it with massive amounts of oils. I mixed it with lemongrass because that's good for connective tissue. I mixed it with helichrysum. I mixed it with frankincense. I mixed it with lavender, and Melrose, and I would just irrigate. And then I took a baby diaper and I put animal scents all over it, and I covered that wound with the baby diaper and the animal scents to keep out any, bad guys, and then to seal that wound. And like I said, it was a huge wound. He didn't flinch. I don't know if he didn't feel anything or if he was just a really, really good dog when it came to pain. But we kept that baby diaper in place by pinning it to the inside of a little girl's bathing suit. And we put the bathing suit on the dog. We cut the bottom out so he could do whatever he needed to do, and put his arms through the armholes. It was funny, but so not to embarrass him, the swimming suit was blue with silver stars, so we were calling him General Theo for a while. But anyway, I can't remember now how long it was. They were going to put him down because he didn't know what else to do. The vet told me that the only thing I could do is treat him at home. So, here it is. I started cleaning the wound 3 times a day with saline and a mixture of helichrysum, lemongrass, melrose, and frankincense and lavender. And I would smear animal scents on a baby diaper and place over the wound. Theo wore a girl's size 10 bathing suit with his front legs in the armholes to hold the baby diaper in place. The dressing was changed 3 times a day. He wore a cone to keep him from bothering the healing, and we continued this for 3 months. After the healing was complete, the scar, where there was no hair, was no bigger than the size of a quarter. It was nothing less than miraculous. I say that today with just as much enthusiasm as when this happened many years ago. It was probably about 2003 when this happened. Because remember, I've been in Young Living for 22 years now. I'm so grateful every day for these wonderful oils. So that's my Theo, and that's my story. Fleas, ticks, and parasites. Flea, tick, and mosquito products contain neurotoxins and cancer-causing ingredients which can damage kidneys, alter thyroid function, and affect behavior. Please know this. Natural prevention comes in the form of good health, diet, removing environmental and internal toxins, which also means not feeding your pets chlorinated water. A healthy animal is not an active host to any parasite and is the first step in controlling parasites. But essential oils can help your pet repel pests and improve health at the same time. Popular flea collars often contain powerful nerve gases, and they can kill some fleas, but they can also kill some pets, especially small dogs. And they can do damage to children and to animals or other adults that handle the pet while the pet is wearing these poisonous flea collars. This was a quote from Dr. Michael Lemon, who was a vet. And he is very concerned about some of the things that they are out on the market for flea, tick, and parasite control. We have animal scent shampoo, and it cleans all types of animal fur and hair. It conditions the hair, it repels insects, and it protects the skin and the coat. It rids hair of lice, ticks, and insects. It's safe, it's all natural, and it's effective, and it has a very pleasant smell. It's full of oils. Parafree is what I used to use for deworming my puppies and my dogs on a regular basis. This is what we use as humans. to get rid of parasites. It dispels worms and parasites. It maintains healthy internal environment. I take Pear-Free even if I don't have parasites because it's really good for the gut. And to give your dogs or even cats, you can take the capsule and you can squeeze it out on their food. Or if they don't mind taking a large capsule, you can do it that way as well. But this is so healthy for them. Pear-Free is healthy for everyone. I would not ever be without Pear-Free. I love it. It's so good for upset stomach. It's just good. It supports digestion and gut health, and it's great for internal cleansing. Also, I mentioned that Dr. Kim Bloomer, veterinarian naturopath, uses Ningxia Red in her treatment of animals because it is an antioxidant liquid dietary supplement from whole food sources. It is great for pets or humans. So, your healthy pet plan. Step 1. First, enroll to receive your wholesale membership. As of June 1, that can be any purchase of 100 PV or more of anything, of pet products, of whatever, because the premium starter kits are going away. Anything that comes to 100 PV will unlock 24% discount for an entire year. So you want to receive your wholesale membership. Step 2, you might want to consider as of June 1 to enroll in our subscription plan. This is a monthly essential rewards or monthly wellness box. And you can earn 10, 20 to 25% in free product on these monthly shipments. So subscribe to save is what it's all about. And if you do 100 PV, you're going to get free shipping. So this way you'll never run out of products to ensure that your healthy pet plan is a success. So maybe you'd want to start out with some sulfurzyme or Digize or Trauma Life for your pet. That's a really great subscription month. Or maybe Ningxia Red, V6, multigreens, or animal shampoo. What a great wellness box mix. Or maybe even Pear-Free, animal scents, or throw in a bottle of lemongrass. Another great monthly order. This way you can continue to have your pet's best interest in mind. Here are some recommendations for resources. The Essential Oils Animal Desk Reference can be purchased at discoverlsp.com. I love Melissa Sheldon's ADR, or the Animal Desk Reference, which can still be purchased at animaldeskreference.com. And I do believe Discover LSP has this little Dogs 101, and they have some other pet pamphlets that you might be interested in. So check out, again, www.discoverlsp.com. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on our Healthy Pets presentation. Welcome to the Young Living family. And if you have any questions, all you have to do is ask.